Heal management is very important for the medic, and in this video we'll go through what that means. So in this example here you can just see that it could be like usage of crossbow bolts. Sometimes you can save targets if you do it, and sometimes they die. First, let's talk about crit heals. Crit heals applies to targets that have not taken damage in the last 15 seconds, meaning that you will heal them 3 times as fast than if they had taken damage. People come from spawn who hasn't taken damage, you will crit heal. Another thing that is important to be aware of is that the heal connect and heal disconnect ranges are different. You have to be closer to a target to connect to a target, but you can be further away before automatically disconnecting. So this allows you to give you some leeway positioning wise as a medic, and is very important. Some of you might already be aware of this, but it is important to know anyway. Crossbow heals 75 up close, 150 furthest away, and varies in between those two distances. Just an important thing to note. Here's some boring numbers that is very useful to know. You heal for 24 HP a second, you crit heal for 72 HP a second. Uber build rate is the same until the target reaches full overheal, regardless if it's normal or crit heals. As soon as the target reaches full overheal, it's 1.25%. Now, the switch speed to the crossbow takes 0.3 seconds. However, it takes 0.36 seconds to fire the crossbow. And during this time, when you're not healing, when you're in between switching and firing, you actually lose 14.4 HP worth of healing. So if your target's super low on health and they receive that healing and they die, you couldn't have saved them anyway. And also the amputator taunt gives 100 HP over 4.2 seconds. That is slightly higher than the normal healing by like 1 point, I think. So that is also important to know. I'll just assume that you know how these mediguns work. However, what you might not know is the decay time it takes for overheal to reach 0. It's the same for all mediguns, which is 15 seconds. However, for the quick fix, because it overheals less, it's only 8 seconds. However, the decay rate at which your HP is lost for each class is the same as the regular mediguns. You just have less of a pool to start with. When it comes to decay rates for each individual class, each class spends the same amount of time, however the rate at which they lose health will be different. So as you can see here, the kunai spy drains his health a lot slower than the heavy, but they will both reach non-buffed state at the exact same time, because both of them will have overheal for 15 seconds. After they've both taken damage, the rate of where they're being healed is the same, so it will take less time to overheal the spy than the heavy. Then again, you're healing the heavy for longer, so the heavy will generate more uber charge for you. 10 people is the maximum amount of people you can keep overhealed at any given time, give or take. It's a bit depending on the classes here, but as you can see, the scout, which we started to heal the first here as we tried to do our best to just distribute the overheals correctly. As soon as we get to the 10th class, you can see that his overheal has completely disappeared. And this is also true if we use the quick fix. As you can see here, the quick fix, of course, is a lot faster, so we give them overheal faster, but they also lose it at a pretty quick rate. And you can see when we reach the scout, the first scout has lost his overheal as well, so it's a bit same. In this instance, my teammates are taking 6 damage every second, and since there's 9 of them, it's an effective 54 damage loss every second. And I can only heal 24 HP a second with the medigun, so that means it's impossible for me as a medic, with just a regular medigun, to keep all of my teammates alive in this situation. I can keep some alive, but not all. With the crossbow, it might be possible, but the room for error is just so incredibly small that if you miss up, or you skip someone, or you hit someone that you didn't mean to, someone else is gonna die, and you might even notice it, and still your odds are against your favor in situations like these. So the best way is just to use the amputator in this situation, and you heal everybody, easy, no problem. Amputator is good in those situations where there is no way in hell you can heal everyone at the same time. Now, lastly, I wanted to just showcase that if someone's in the way, you can jump and heal over them, but keep in mind different classes have different heights, and the tallest classes are the heavy and the sniper. They are the tallest classes, and if you try to heal past them, like a scout next to a heavy, it's gonna be very difficult. It might be possible, keep in mind everybody will be moving, this is just a stationary example. But just keep that in mind as a neat little tech you can do as a medic. It's super simple tech. You just press space and then you aim at the guy and you heal him, and it works pretty well. And lastly, with the crossbow, if you combine it with the regular medigun, when they've taken damage, it only takes 8 seconds to fully overheal a demo man, while it takes 10 seconds, which is normal heals. However, keep in mind that going with just normal heals will generate more uber because you've been healing him for longer. So since I'm playing the role of like a shitty teacher of not informing you of this before I give you the task, we're now going to take a look at the user submitted demos and see if they follow these kind of heal management protocols and tips that I've just talked about. First up is Esteban fails more. Esteban starts off with a really nice crossbow on this engineer there. Heals him for 123, but the engineer wasn't even in the red, so the engineer would have survived the onslaught. So the arrow doesn't really matter, but it did save him anyway. So here he decides to not go on the offensive and just rather decide to let the engineer take care of him and just build Uber at the fastest rate he can. He could have gone in for a couple of Uber saws if he so desired, but he chose not to. So I'm guessing he was going for the very secure and more passive route than being aggressive and getting more stuff. So here he is with his team. You can see that he's healing them. Keep in mind, people that come from spawn, you will overheal fastest, so it's a good idea to give those the heal first before you start working on the guys you will heal less. As soon as they take damage, this is no longer valid. You can see that here. So he has his work cut out for him. And luckily, I want you guys to pay attention to the top as well. When you're watching through this video, you can see that he's healing the demo. And so far, one guy died on his team. Not much he could have done there. But you can see his team is for the most part healthy. And then we have this very coward heavy with a really adult name. Deciding to just not attack at any point in time, whatever. So he's stuck with this demo man, which is basically the code for his profile, I guess. For the rest of the demo, the heavy just doesn't attack. He just retreats here, and that's it. And it doesn't really leave Esteban with a lot of options to heal really anyone. So far he's been doing okay. This is Nagi, and he's here playing on a bit of a laggy computer, I guess, or bad internet connection. He's on Dust Bowl. There we go. Some good lag there. Good for medic, and he's actually in a situation where you can see that he's using the amputator, but everybody on his team has pretty much full health, and the guy who's hurt on his team actually isn't really nearby, and he's taking so much damage, and that 100 health in just a burst of the taunt really just didn't cut it there. But he's still healing, distributing everything, and he's going in with a push into the enemy spawn because this is a Dust Bowl, and the map sucks because it's so favoring the Reds because the blue team only can escape through this one exit where they are just barricading everything. And then he goes back, and let's take a look here as he heals. I'm not sure if you heal if you're lagging out, but he has healed everybody regardless, and they die even though he got the heals. But we see that he's trying, and this is one of those situations where the amputator would be good. It's just not that viable right outside the enemy spawn. However, they do have the sentries and stuff, so that's pretty good. And you can see he's lagging a bit more. And some more. Yep, that is not going to help you with heal management if you're out of the game every so often. You can see it takes a while for him to heal up this pyro because he has taken damage, and he decides to heal this. This doesn't give you Uber as quickly as the other one does because you do heal a lot more. And it's also lagging a bit on the switch there, but he has been building Uber quite a bit here on the blue team. It's just, you can't just get out of spawn. It's impossible for them. So well done you. So far we haven't really seen any cases where you could have saved someone and didn't. So this is Nurse, and we're gonna say exactly that because Nurse is a medic main, I think. And just being here along with Morg, which is a good player from the old days I remember. So just healing here, using the Kritzkrieg, building that Uber a lot faster. Going back, and then going up the high ground, giving some heals to this pyro, and then giving them back to the heavy. So you don't really have a lot of people to just share it with. And oh, there comes someone. If you look in the kill feed up top, not kill feed, but the team thing, it's the guy. But you didn't even bother to shoot an arrow, did you?
Yet another fighter you could have saved.
So yeah, at least make the effort to at least try with the crossbow. If you don't try, they are sure to die. In this next clip, Nurse is in a bit of a trickier spot. There's a lot more going on with the other team here. You can see their team is taking some damage here. We got some people in the yellow health. That's a demo man. Ooh, we're probably not going to let die again. Yep, there we go. And he decides to not get the health pack to help build Uber even faster. So just looking for a team sniper. Has a racerback, not allows any overheal. Shoots that spy. So what I really like about this play is that Nurse is spending a lot of time looking around. So there's not a lot of stuff that's going to be able to sneak up on this medic. So this is pretty good. So you can see checking your back, looking around, keeping teammates alive, distributing the heals. So your Nurse is just hiding around the corner, and then we have a spy. If only we had the pyro and that could do this. But Nurse takes care of Biznu by herself, having a bit of a maniacal laugh as they capture. And now they're going to go ahead on the flank here, along with Morg. They have full Uber and a soldier. Two people, they go in here, and the sentry gets wrangled, and Deef wrangled at the worst possible time. They go in, and now they're gonna attack here. So I just wanted to pay attention to this soldier on the right here. You know the soldier? Yeah, the soldier on the right. So go in with the Uber, and it gets launched up, and if there only was a soldier you could flash that was closer, that could like take the pushback from it, but it goes up, and you see the soldier?
Yet another fighter you could have saved.
I let you die.
That's right, nurse. You let him die. So he fell down and you could have made an escape with 25% Uber, but you got greedy and decided to stick around and then you perished yourself. But good heals. So this is the last one by Nurse here on Barn Blitz. We're gonna have a little example of what happens when there's just too much damage and even crossbow heals can't save your target. So here we go, you can see this heavy's taking a lot of damage and it's more than you can heal, so it's like, well, might as well try the crossbow. Soon we can try the crossbow. The heavy's no longer burning and...
Yet another fighter you could have saved.
That was unfortunate, not even an effort with the crossbow. So that was Nurse, thanks for the stingy crossbow heals, but good heals all around. This is Rattle Wrench being back in TF2 after a 4-month hiatus. And he's like, alright, medic topic, I can do that. Alright, so here he is, healing, distributing heals, just popped an Uber, healing everybody on his team. Taking the pushback and aggro from the sentry. Keep in mind, sentries fires at whatever is closest, so if you're Ubered, that's great. So here he's just pumping heals into this heavy. There really isn't anyone else to heal. If you look at his team, they're fairly healthy. He's also the only medic. They have a lot of power classes and some engineers. They actually have just one sniper as the other support. So right now, Rattle Wrench is doing a pretty good job of just keeping everyone alive. You can see there isn't really a lot of pressure being applied at this very moment. There's a demo man behind there. Actually goes in and lands a nice little crossbow on him. That's always good. He didn't sacrifice the crossbow for a lot of heals for his other team. There's also been a couple of spies that I didn't show earlier. Like, here you go. Yeah, speaking of spy, there he is. So despite some teammates dying there because he didn't pump as much heal into them, he's keeping himself alive and the Uber going, which is important too. All right, next up is 2-bit or bit 2. I think it's bit 2. Should be bit 2. Anyway, here he is on Borneo with his team. He's about to hit that Uber here as he comes in with his team. You can see there's a lot of low health targets on his team, and he's the only medic. So now heal distribution is very important. So a lot of people died there with the crossbow. It's not like he could let him die. It's just hard. He tried. That's all we ask. So he goes in here with the soldier with 0 friends, goes in and just completely annihilates the sentry here with this Uber, and then he's going to just keep attacking here. He's only healing one guy at the time, but this guy is a very important target at this point in time. He could give some overheal to the spy, but he decides not to, just to make it convincing. Checking that scout that was moving a bit suspiciously, and then he's going to heal his soldier friend once again that is in a lot of trouble. And there was a lot of red, and that soldier is still alive somehow. The soldier survived. You can look at the kill feed, he hasn't been dead yet, so he'd probably show up at some point. However, I do think if he went there, he would die too. So this is Spicy Penis with some great Dust Bowl action here on attack. They just spent an Uber going through the first sentry that's on the little house there. And you can see his team is pretty hurt there, and they might be taking some trickle damage. And here's actually a very good spot to use the Amputator in. He's safe, he has his teammates around him, and he's able to pump out a lot of health to the people around him, which worked, sort of. Would be better if his teammate really did that, but some great crossbows on the demo that didn't move for anybody, and then he goes back to healing this heavy. Now keep in mind, this heavy is basically like an Uber dispenser at this point, because he doesn't have crit heals, and you can just pump healing into him and you build Uber really, really quickly, and the heavy seems to be really content at taking damage and surviving, which really helps you as a medic here. So if you look at his team, he doesn't really have the time to, well, he does have time to overheal the fresh spawns, but the fresh spawns also just took damage before he got to them, which is hard. But then he gets an Uber and they just go in and completely destroy this defense here, because there's no pyro for air blast, and his heavy here just mows through everything. So very well played there, healing the key targets. Could probably have shared the Uber a bit more, but the people didn't die as much, and they did push through, so allowed. Next up is Electric Maze here on Well, and we're going to be seeing that he isn't really going to be sticking with the majority of his team. Now, his team composition isn't awful. I mean, they have a couple of spies, but they have some power. Have a soldier and 2 heavies, and then he does something really ballsy, and good thing that soldier was bad, otherwise he would have killed you. But here you can see here he's going in with his team, overhealing the scout, looking around for other people to heal, and he decides to capture the point instead of running off of it and trying to heal people. Shoots a crossbow, and then he doesn't try to land a second one, he just goes in and goes for the steady heals, which is a great way to manage. And you can see that he shoots a crossbow bolt and he misses, which happens a lot with I would say like medics that aren't super duper awesome in the game. But look at that, he has a full Uber, most of his team is alive, and they just run up to the point there, and he could flash the scout at any point in time, but nope, Electric Maze has other plans, and he goes in and they cap and they win, and who cares what happened. So here we have Karma's camera playing on the only map he ever submits stuff to, which is this map. And here it's also important that there is quite a long distance for the defenders to get to you, so that means every defender you meet is going to be able for overheals. And of course crossbow heals is difficult on targets that aren't moving predictably, so it can be a bit frustrating and you might yell at your soldiers, but here you should just be very quick at overhealing everything. But that pyro looked suspiciously like another pyro that we saw. And he's just going to shoot him and kill him and then distribute some more heals. Then he's going to go a bit of an adventure here by himself, so he's going to fast forward a little bit until we get to where we need to be. Kill the pyro, kill the scout, Uber in, just for survival, going forward here, taking this position, and there we go. So here, he is a bit of a hurtin', so he decides to go up here, be a bit risky, and go for the health pack here, which he then grabs. And then he sees the soldier, and is like, alright, cool. Oh. What happened? So he goes for the soldier, aims at him, and then the pyro runs in the way.
Yet another fighter you could have saved.
Would have saved him if that pyro didn't walk in the way, or the guy wasn't stuck. This is Gulu, and he's here with his friend Paketik, I think. Is his heavy friend, at least. I'm not sure if they're actually friends. Brings out the Uber Saw, ready for some Uber drainage. Hits a nice little crossbow there, heals the demo quite quickly. That was a very good decision by him to just increase the damage. And then he has Uber, and he flicks it, and isn't able to help with the demo. So now they're doing the pushing into the enemy spawn and dying strategy. So let's see if they can get out of here without dying. So he's pretty hurt. The heavy's super hurt. He hits a crossbow bolt. That's very nice. Crossbow, of course, you know, heal. Oh, we missed the second one. Oh, but that's fine. We're in the top here. So here we're in a bit of an interesting spot. So what's going to happen here? He is low in health, and oh, a spy. Darn. Well, regardless of how good he would have get those crossbow bolts, he would still have died to that spy. This is another one of Gulu where he isn't doing too hot with the crossbows. So he hits this one, this is fine, heals the Bison Soldier, and then he gets really, I'm not sure what happens, but his focus and his determination really falters. So he misses this crossbow. That's 14 health lost, where he didn't heal anything. So he's healing the spy, and then he didn't even see that the heavy taking damage, so the heavy died.
Yet another fighter you could have saved.
But regardless, Gulu is determined. He's gonna heal this demo man, heal his soldier. Demo man's taking damage, disconnected. Heal this, okay, so heal this demo, and there's the team coming, and heal this, should heal the demo. Oh, the demo's hurt. Try to distribute the health. Crossbow. Oh, missed. Oh, that's fine. Heal the soldier in the front. Oh, heal the demo. Crossbow, missed. Oh.
Yet another fighter you could have saved.
And then the soldier.
I let you die.
Sure, this happens a lot, but don't be discouraged. Just keep practicing to land those bolts. Speaking of someone who lands bolts, this is Amadeus. Look at this. He hits every single bolt in this entire demo. So look at this. So he goes around and then he shoots him up. Hit that bolt. Nice. And that didn't count. Hit that bolt. Yep. He only missed one so far. Let's make sure that didn't happen. And then he decides to not shoot a bolt because he switched back to regular minigun. Oh, hits that bolt as well. And the only way to get this good with bolts is just to practice a lot. So overall, very good heal distribution and heal management, but you will always die to random shit. So here we have Amadeus again. They've moved up to the enemy red spawn, and they have a heavy with them, and a pyro, and another medic who is dead. Not sure what happened to him. We didn't really see him, so we do occupy the space here. And by we, I mean Amadeus and his crew. Lucifer here. And then Amadeus does something super ballsy here, gets a couple of random crits and kills both the heavy and the medic, and then he goes in and pops the Uber on the heavy. Could share it with this pyro who's in the red and is now dead. No matter, we can survive this. And oh, is that a soldier up top? Yep, that's a soldier. If only we had someone who could reflect those things.
Yet another fighter you could have saved.
I let you die.
So this is Mutant Destroyer playing on the map that Karma Camera only plays. So here he is with his heavy. They are on a killing frenzy. And there isn't really anyone to distribute heal to at this forward space. But there comes a pyro, and he disconnects, but he heals him and hits him with a crossbow anyway. That was pretty good. Let's see that again. So what happens is that he tries to connect with the pyro, but he reconnects with the heavy instead, and then he just instantly switches to this and shoots. The heavy has full health. There's no way the heavy would have stolen the health. Next up is a human-shaped set of pixels. And he's playing on Gold Rush, my favorite map. And he is going to be having some very, I would say, decent heal management when he can connect the dots, but he's making his effort to keep everyone alive. However, he is extremely stingy with the uber popping. And we're going to see exactly how this pans out. So he shoots a couple of crossbow bolts at the enemy and not his teammates. His pyro, he's almost dying. He has super low health, but then decides to heal him back up. Here has a heavy. They have uber. They can go and contest the point at any point in time. He can just do that. But then, nope, the heavy is taking damage, picked up that large health kit, and he's hiding. There's a sniper, and he decides to crossbow bolt the sniper. Oh, that guy died. And then he hides up here, and he's healing the pyro. And then the pyro dies. Do you guys know what sort of clip comes now?
Yet another fighter you could have saved.
We all know you have the power! It's time to use it!
Now? No, I think I'll wait. I let you die.
And so, both teammates dead and still at 100% uber, he just kind of pops it and runs back. This clip's featuring Rare, and he's gonna do something with his Rare that medics are doing, which is actually a really great idea. I highly suggest everybody do this, is just to back your ass up towards the enemy like this and just flash the uber on your teammates, making sure nobody dies. So a great job there. Not so much heal management in that area, but good worth anyway. But here we're gonna have a bit of heal and management goodness. And by goodness, I mean some mismanagement happening later. So he is trying to crossbow someone that may or may not be taking some damage. So then he decides to run back and just overheal everybody. This is good management for now. Of course, when you cap this, you'll get forward positioning. Great little crossbow there on that soldier. So here we have starting to have a bit of a problem where people are going in and starting to take damage, and they're taking more damage than we can heal potentially. We have a full uber that we could use, and then there have a soldier who goes in with a buff banner that you would be a great point to uber. So he's being very careful, a bit too careful, goes in and then pops the uber, and then the heavy dies. Oh no. But I'm gonna let that one slide because there was a bit tricky to do so, but then they go in and they kept point, and then he's gonna go fall back and do the heal. So he should be healing this demo here. So keep in mind there is a strategy where you just wait for the 15 seconds to pass, and then you can crit heal people up, people that's been out of battles. Here's the thing that's important: you should always crit heal the fresh spawn. So this heavy here would probably have survived that onslaught if he had gotten heals. So if you look at this clip again, you can see the heavy coming here, and the soldier isn't taking any damage. A short little flick of this heavy would bring up a lot of health, but then you can see he's just too busy healing the soldier, and here comes the entourage, and there is the soldier. The heavy gets hit by probably a couple of rockets and something else, doing a little over 300 damage, killing him. It's a bit of a mismanagement there, but in the moment it's very hard to decide who you should heal and who you should not. But in situations like this, heavies, fresh spawn, coming in, ready for action, just pop heals on them and they'll get them to 450 really quickly. It's about maximizing your heals and doing so. So here also, once again, we're having trouble where like the people in the front lines are taking a while to heal up because of the slower heal rate that they have. And here comes the heavy once again. Here he is. This is the heavy that you need to heal. Slowing it down, and yeah, finally it gives him some heal, and it doesn't even give him full buff there. The soldier in the back that really isn't of any consequence right now does get the heal, but it does get the uber ready, and then going in with the heavy, so it really didn't matter. But as for maximum efficiency, people, it doesn't matter if it's a heavy or demo or soldier or pyro or whatever. If it's a fresh spawn, crit heals, definitely the way to go. It only takes a fraction of a second, and you do send it all the way up. Then they managed to just go on and capture the entire thing. So next up we have none other than Hexagon, and this is 5 CP, and as you can see he's healing everybody. And he's not overhealing just one target, he's also healing the rocket jumpers that goes to the front lines. And as you can see, he's at half uber when they get to the mid fight. And Oh, look at that crossbow. Oh, that was juicy, juicy crossbow. I like that one. Then he goes over here, heals the guy in the front, takes some damage. He's also hiding behind the boxes, gets another great juicy crossbow. Heals his teammates up to full health. Always good to heal those guys who will be leaving you first. And then the rest later, using the scout as a taxi, going with the rest of his team and just keeping the overheal on them. Keep in mind you can have 10 people overhealed if they're not taking damage at the time, as we talked about earlier. So Hexagon decides to just go through here with the rest of his team, and then he just Ubers early. Better to pop it than drop it or not use it at all and have 2 teammates die because of your mistakes. But then he goes in, cleans it up, and as you may have noticed, none of his teammates has died yet. And that's mainly because of Hexagon and his amazing healing. And then he misses his first crossbow bolt on a target that is fairly close and not moving. And now I think, yeah, now their one pyro dies. And that guy, pyro, also had the back scratcher. And then they win! Great stuff there by Hexagon. Truly the backbone of his team's success. This is Hexagon one more time on a 5 CP map, crossbowing that heavy, just pumping him full of heals, and he would not have survived unless he had gotten that crossbow health, for sure. So great work there. He also has a full Uber now, and the heavy's just waiting around the dispenser. Probably for ammo, because he has 59 left. Then he goes with the soldier, who decides holding this building weapon is great, so he decides to just give him another crossbow. And then they just attack at any point in time, and he flashes to Uber to all his teammates that he can. And he's not stingy with it, and that allows his teammates to be more aggressive, and that allows him to better escape that soldier. And misses a couple of crossbows, that's fine. And now he's just pumping more heals into his heavy while they're capping. Misses another crossbow, heavy throws a sandwich, things are good. He's looking around for his teammates, but his heavy is the guy taking most of the damage here, so he should be the one that he's currently focusing on. He's just looking for other teammates as well, but then his heavy falls to a headshot. And I think that was a fully charged headshot, so regardless of your health, he would have, let's just assume that he would have died to that. Then he goes in with the soldier, trying to back him up, give the scout some heals, and then give the soldier some heals as well, while they just recuperate themselves. He's still building Uber fairly quickly. He's not really wasting too much time on this, and you can see the soldier also whips out the escape plan to just help maximize that build rate. And they will know where he is, but building Uber is more important than you hiding in the corner. Red arrow 64. So he's almost ready with the new Uber here. Gonna defend himself a little bit towards this pyro, run into a couple of teammates here. Here's the heavy again, who may or may, no, this is another heavy. He's not gonna throw a sandwich. Were you stupid? It's not gonna throw a sandwich for you. Shoots crossbow bolt meant for the heavy. Someone else picks it up. Heals. Oh, here comes the proper heavy, the flip-flop heavy. Definitely not a heavy main. Comes in, and he's just spreading the lob, spreading this, allowing the soldiers to rocket jump freely. Oh, and even though he decides not to. Oh, that heavy is super low. Hexagon with the super good thing, and then a spy comes and nobody hears the screams, and then the spy just kills everyone except the heavy. The heavy's up top. What's this? SMG sniper? That is free Uber for us. Yum, yum, yum. Get that up and spread the heals. And that's a spy. That's a spy, boys. Turn around. No! And then we get sniped by Raja the Great.
It's laughing time.
Bless me, Daddy.
Amore.
Great Bollywood movie. Next up is Deef, who's playing medic here on Gorge Attack. Doing a great job here, hitting 2 juicy crossbows. They're really bringing that health back on the soldier, who's now back in the red as well. Goes in another crossbow, he blows the horn. Very high priority on that guy. Should probably pump the overheals into him as he has that, but you can see his team is hurting and dying, and there's not really a whole lot you could do here. Like to save that demo because you have to kind of focus on the guy who's running the banner, who's actually doing a lot more. But he did save that soldier's life, and again, maybe even a third time. So here he meets Uncle Bane, which is someone we know, very famous Tumblr guy, heavy main. Pumps him in with another crossbow. So far, his heal management has been absolutely excellent, I have to say. Very few mistakes, if any. I mean, sometimes it's impossible to heal people even if you pump them in. And while you can choose to save some, maybe the guy you're healing will also die. So here they're just absolutely cleaning up house. And misses that one crossbow here, but do you think it will matter? They've already done so much, and he gets the Ubersaw on that pyro. And then they win! Cool! This is Razzie the Hunter. We have a little short clip here, last of the usually submitted ones. So this is a pretty interesting clip here. So I want you to pay attention to the top bar, unless you have been doing that the entire time. And look at the health of his team. You can see his team is pretty low. You can see who's going to die pretty easily just by looking at their health going down. So right now he's healing, and you can see his teammates are taking a lot of damage here. But look at this. This AoE heal is actually healing like 3-4 guys on his team. The Pyros were already at full health, and the Amputator doesn't overheal. So he actually got some out of that. He got some good value. But then soldiers ruin the fun. So this is me. So I start off by just healing these soldiers here. And I'm paying more attention to my surroundings than what my soldiers are doing. So I'm just healing this smiley face guy until I give him a little buff, and then I'm going to switch targets, and I'm just going to keep on him, and I assume that he's able to survive and not be stupid and die. And also he positioned himself nicely for a crossbow, so there he came. And then he jumped away, tried to hit a crossbow. I'm not going to reload and try and shoot a second one, but he kind of makes me easy to hit a second one. So I always like to pay more attention to where my teammates are at than what my teammates are doing as a medic. And then also I want to keep a good focus on this medic here, because having 2 medics is a lot better than having 1, especially if 1 dies. And then eventually I'm kind of left by myself versus me and another medic, and the enemy spawns, so we decide to just bolt, and that's what we do. So this is a lot later. I have decided to switch to the Vaccinator just to showcase that, because it's very interesting, because it heals at the same rate when you're not going into Overheal, and it also gives you the buff. And this one you really have to manage heal management more than the quick fix, I'd say, because the quick fix is usually stumped by not enough people being around to really utilize it, or something, or it's like not really a management medigun. It's more like you boost one type of player with it, like a soldier or a scout or something, or demo knight or whatever. So here, just sharing the wealth, and I also have another medic here, and that's probably the most important part, that I am a support at this point. I am just supporting the medic that's already doing the majority of the overheal. So I'm just helping, keeping them up to the main health, which heals at the same rate. And then I can also provide some resistance, so allows our team to be a bit more beefy here. Now all of our soldiers are dead because I wasn't with them. I was very busy with this sniper, who is a sniper. And then we just kind of hang around here with this engineer, who then takes a bunch of damage. And then we have the sniper in the back line. Always be sure to give, I always like to give sniper overheals because I'm sniper main myself, and if the other team has an enemy sniper and I have overheal, it just gives me, allows me to tank the first headshot, and if the other medic on the other team is a stingy dude that doesn't give snipers overheal or refuse to heal snipers, we'll have a huge advantage, because then snipers will have elbow room. So that's why sharing the wealth is very important. You can see, like, building this with the soldier allows me to have a lot of stuff, and also crossbow is very handy in this build. Especially with the Vaccinator, I'd say it's really, really great. And then I kind of make a mistake here. I mess up and I decide to just get out of there, hang around this dispenser, who is still level 1, I think, and we're just eating it right now. And then we kind of have to get out of there. But so far you can see that the Vaccinator works really great if you just want to have constant pushes and constant poking and prodding at the enemy. It works great until you die. So this is the last step, the last demo before we close it out. So here I am healing heavy. I'm just going to show that even if you try your best to hit a crossbow, sometimes the player will just die anyway because the damage is just too great. So I actually healed him and he ended up on 40 health. And then he died. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching through to the end of this very post-edited version of HiGPS. Normally we do this live and we do it a bit differently, but this was such a huge topic that I had to do it this way. However, the next topic is going to be sniper positioning, and it's not going to be as deep. It's going to be more interesting to see how you do from start to finish of a life and what you do. And we'll see if we can get some good information out of that. So be sure to check out HiGPS.no for the balance mod server changes and IP addresses, announcements, and other stuff.